Morocco earthquake kills more than 2,000 people. Survivors sleep outdoors. Hello and welcome back to Epic Vision Channel. Moroccan earthquake survivors huddled for a night in the open on the high Atlas Mountains on Saturday, a day after the country's deadliest quake in more than 6 decades, killed more than 2,000 people and laid waste to villages. Neighbors were still searching for survivors buried on the slopes, where houses of mud brick, stone, and rough wood were cracked open, and mosque minarets toppled by the quake that struck late on Friday. The historic old city of Marrakech also suffered extensive damage. The Interior Ministry said 2,012 people had been killed and 2,059 injured, including 1,404 in critical condition. The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake had a magnitude of 6.8 with an epicenter some 72 kilometers, 45 miles southwest of Marrakech. In the village of Amizmiz near the epicenter, rescue workers picked through rubble with their bare hands. Fallen masonry blocked narrow streets. Outside a hospital, around 10 bodies lay covered in blankets as grieving relatives stood nearby. When I felt the earth shaking beneath my feet and the house leaning, I rushed to get my kids out. But my neighbors couldn't, said Mohammed Azza. Unfortunately, no one was found alive in that family. The father and son were found dead, and they are still looking for the mother and the daughter. Rescuers stood atop the pancaked floors of one building in Amizmiz, bits of carpet and furniture protruding from the rubble. A long queue formed outside the only open shop as people sought supplies. Underlining the challenges facing rescuers, fallen boulders blocked a road from Amizmiz to a nearby village. Nearly all the houses in the area of Azni, some 40 kilometers south of Marrakech, were damaged, and villagers were preparing to spend the night outside. Food was in short supply as roofs had collapsed on kitchens, said villager Mohammed Uhamo. Montasir Itri, a resident of Azni, said the search was on for survivors. Our neighbors are under the rubble, and people are working hard to rescue them using available means in the village, he said. The village of Tansgart in the Ansi area, on the side of a valley where the road from Marrakech rises up into the high Atlas, was the worst hit of any Reuters saw. Its once pretty houses, clinging to a steep hillside, were cracked open by the shaking ground.
Wesh. Hey, Cyril. Putain.
Those still standing were missing chunks of wall or plaster. 2 mosque minarets had fallen. Abdelatif Ait Bella, a laborer, lay on the ground, barely able to move or speak, his head bandaged from wounds caused by falling debris. "We have no house to take him to and have had no food since yesterday," said his wife Saida Bodchich, fearing for the future of their family of 6 with their sole breadwinner so badly hurt. "We can rely on nobody but God." The village is already mourning 10 deaths, including 2 teenage girls, an inhabitant said. Tremors were felt as far away as Huelva and Jaén in southern Spain. The World Health Organization said more than 300,000 people were affected in Marrakech and surrounding areas. Residents rest on the street in Moulay Brahim village in the province of Al Haouz following a powerful earthquake in Morocco. The magnitude 6.8 quake is the biggest to hit the North African country in 120 years. At least 2,012 people died in the quake, mostly in Marrakech and 5 provinces near the epicenter, Morocco's Interior Ministry said. At least another 2,059 people were injured, 1,404 critically, officials said. The full toll will almost certainly increase as rescuers have struggled to bypass boulder-strewn roads to the remote mountain villages that were hit hardest. The World Health Organization, WHO, said more than 300,000 people had been affected by the powerful tremors throughout the country. Morocco declared 3 days of national mourning, during which the national flag would be flown at half-mast, the royal court said. The Moroccan armed forces were deploying rescue teams to provide affected areas with clean drinking water, food supplies, tents, and blankets, it added. Residents of Marrakech, the major city nearest to the epicenter, said some buildings had collapsed in the old city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The city's famous 12th century Kutubiyya Mosque suffered damage, but the extent was not immediately clear. Initial reports said part of a minaret that towered over Jama' el-Fana, a market square and hub for visitors, had collapsed, injuring 2 people, before people fled to the open area of the square to seek shelter. Local television showed piles of rubble and broken pipes crushing parked cars and blocking streets across Marrakech, as residents rushed into the street after the quake struck at 11:11 p.m. on Friday. State TV showed people wrapped in blankets sleeping in the street, fearing further aftershocks. The quake was felt in neighboring Algeria and as far away as Portugal, according to the Portuguese Institute for Sea and Atmosphere and Algeria's Civil Defense Agency, which oversees emergency responses. Leaders and diplomats around the world expressed condolences and offered their support, including Turkey, where powerful earthquakes in February killed more than 50,000 people. The Prime Minister of Morocco's cross-strait neighbor Spain, Pedro Sanchez, expressed his solidarity and support to the people of Morocco in the wake of this terrible earthquake. Spain is with the victims of this tragedy. The French President, Emmanuel Macron, said he was devastated and that France stands ready to help with first aid. Algerian state television broadcast a message from the presidency declaring that the state would open its airspace to allow the transport of humanitarian aid to Morocco, as well as offering aid resources. A shift following a complete rupture in diplomatic relations between the two nations that has lasted for 2 years. In 1980, the 7.3 magnitude El Islam earthquake in neighboring Algeria killed 2,500 people and left at least 300,000 homeless. An earthquake of magnitude 5.8 shook the coastal town of Agadir in 1960, leaving more than 15,000 people dead. This is all for today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates. Thanks for watching.